Welcome to Leverton on Everything, the podcast where I, Leverton, literally review everything. That's the first rule. Second rule is that every review that I do is under 10 minutes. So I'm going to talk today about Hell Camp, Teen Nightmare. I gave it 8 out of 10 stars. My title, How Avoiding Criminal Justice Works. This film is a good example of when the American justice system fails. A guy has an idea to market a harsh wilderness expedition as a way to tame troubled youth. He has no experience with counseling, is not a psychologist, nor is he an expert in desert survival, but he goes on television and his message resonates so much that his business is wildly successful. Parents would pay up to $10,000 to have their child kidnapped and sent to this camp. It was so successful that he could not properly train his employees, and one of the kids sent to the camp died. Obviously, he and his company were then charged, but after a 2-year trial, he was acquitted of all charges and her death was ruled accidental. Any reasonable person at this point would say to themselves, I tried this idea, I failed, let me do something else with my life. He did not. He tried this strategy again in 2 different locations, and they both ended up in disaster. In the last case, the victims of this camp needed to be rescued by staff members from the American Embassy. The most idiotic thing about this entire situation is his family's insistence that this man did nothing wrong because he wasn't there when the worst abuses took place. This is mind-boggling. If I created a company and it ended up devolving into a slave labor camp and say that I didn't know anything about it and in fact I benefited from this slave labor camp, I think I bear some kind of responsibility. It's incredible to me that this man escaped any form of criminal justice. Yeah, that's one of these tough teen industries, troubled teen industry, I think what they called it. And I think that this guy, I forgot what his name was, I think he kind of popularized that in the States. And so many people are just exploiting children. They're exploiting children and they're exploiting the fear that the parents have, because they're afraid of the education system, they're afraid that they've failed as parents. And, as a parent, I don't want to say that I am like a great parent or a bad parent because I don't think that's for me to say, but I try. Um, but one thing I know is that children with problems, the problems that they have are never because people were too soft on them. It's never because people weren't harsh enough on them. And because I think we're in this thing where we say, what is that weird meme where it's like soft times breed weak men and weak men create hard times and then hard times create hard men. I don't know how that goes, but it just ignores something which is fundamental because violence can be effective in the short run, right? Like you can rob somebody, you can murder somebody, you can rape somebody. Yeah, but we are social creatures. We have social relationships with each other. And the basis of that in our society is not violence. It's not being a jerk. you know, it's about these friendly relations we have with each other. Um, yeah. And maybe not even friendly relationships with each other. It's about society and following the rules. And following the rules doesn't mean torturing people, you know? So yeah, those kind of things make me really ill, to be honest. So yeah, I'm not gonna recommend the podcast that I do with my son because it's a tradition. I have like these kind of mini rules. So if the topic is too bad or too depressing, I'm not gonna promote the podcast that I have with my son. But you can certainly find it on different episodes of this podcast. So maybe leave a review for this one, subscribe, do all of that stuff, like and follow. you know. All right. Thanks. Bye.